Hello guys, and welcome to an update to Bigger Than Yours. I have been doing the cave thing again. I know I've been super silent. I started working on some evader stuff, then I went into Bigger Than Yours, and I could see how many players have already started playing this game even though we are at such an early state, and I just went nuts coding because you guys have been sending amazing ideas and I wanted to try out a few different of them, and things just kind of got a little bit out of control for me. But this here, guys, is what I have made for version 13591, actually 13591 of Bigger Than Yours. First of all, the next time you're going to be playing this game, you are going to have a starting menu that looks something like this. The top thing you can select is your offline game. It is your current game, and it will be converted to the new game because I recoded more than the entire game, really. Moving forward, the game is mostly going to be online based, but I wanted everyone that has been playing to be able to keep their hard-earned objects. And of course, I am going to be supporting the offline game, but the focus is probably going to be on the online things. But you guys are going to see a bit more about that moving forward. You have save 2, save 3, and save 4 as your online options, meaning that you can play 3 times on any given device. And the reason why I made this is because I see no reason for players to fiddle around with BlueStacks and weird device stuff trying to make additional accounts, because at some point, hopefully in the next large update, we're gonna have trading in here. And some players just like to be trading with themselves, and instead of making weird stuff, I gave you guys 3 accounts so you can do it without having to do all hocus pocus stuff. Alright, so let's dig into the game. Let's check out the new game, or how the game has changed, or however you want to be looking at it. So 4 save options, 1 offline, 3 online, and it's gonna give you a username. This is the new stuff. First of all, we have 1 tier for every object tier, 1 floor. It just goes down, so no more jars, no more containers. We have a lot of space, and that is because we have cubigs. Cubigs are these new objects you can tap on. They're your companions, your friends, your buddies, and of course we have an online top list. So these are the things I'm going to be talking a bit about for this version. The top list also resets every 1 to 3 days. It may be off with the single position for now, and these are the rewards you're going to be getting. If you are on position 1 to 100, the top 100 players are only going to be spawning black objects. That's why you have no indicator. And you're going to be getting more cash per time. That is the thing you get from the golden bordered objects. So that is the reward you're going to be getting, is easier progression and more in-game cash. For now anyway, probably going to be adding prestige options. As you can see, the game loads after about a minute. You get 2 new icons at the bottom of the panel, and you get the top list indicator, and that is where you're going to be able to do new things, really. Of course, the top list, you guys already saw that. It's not there in the offline game because it's not there. The diamond kind of thing with the star on is the new prestige credit system. You can reset, you can prestige, and depending on the amount of objects you have, how far down you've gone, you will get some amount of prestige points. And when you have prestige and you log in right away, you will be able to see that you get a cash reward and object reward based on these companions that you have. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about that now, because this is both super easy and just like a little bit of cute fun, and at the same time really hardcore advanced in terms of what you guys may want to be keeping an eye out for when you start hopefully trading in an update or so. These cubigs, these companions, have different powers. They have different stats. Most of them will darken the objects they touch or land on, and we're going to be looking a little bit into that. Some of them will spawn these dark clouds, some of them the dark sun, some will give you cash, loads of options. This here is the menu. I'm just looking at some of the commons I have unboxed here. The way it works is you have one, and it changes whenever it does something. So these are the stats that you can see about a cubig. It has a power, how much does it jump or affect, activity, meaning what is the probability that it will do something for you when you tap it or it hits another object. Those are like core abilities, or what you would say. Luck is a chance to do double power. Shyness is about when will this object change into a new one. You have all these different skins, or whatever we should call them, and when they do something, when they spawn new objects for you, give you money, something, there is a chance they will change into another skin, and that is the shyness. The abilities, you have 3 numbers down there. The first 2 affect the amount of cash you get when you prestige and the amount of objects, and the last one affects both. So these are 3 very important things in terms of moving faster forward, and the others affect how the individual cubig is going to help you when you are playing right now. Cash means when you tap this, when it hits a wall, when it hits an object, there is a chance that you will get cash. Darkness means it will darken every object. Everything you have object-wise will become darker, a tiny little bit, but it's everything. So that is also a very, very strong one. Critical affects your chance to do double when you tap, and also the effect of everything else, it has a chance to do double. Right now these are the unboxing options you have, and I'm just going to be doing a few commons here, then we're going to do a prestige to see how much more we're going to be getting after we have unboxed a few commons, because this greatly affects the amount of starting cash we have and starting objects. This common here has spawn 1. The spawn ability is a chance to give you more tier 1 objects. So it's like getting more per tap, but it only triggers every once in a while. But it can also do it automatically, because these cubigs, they jump around and interact with everything, so it can happen a lot of times. It can happen when the game is passive, but you can also try to make it happen more frequently by tapping on it. And that's how all of these cubics work. I can't watch ads on my device, but those of you that can spawn in more cubics. You can choose to watch an ad. You get a small plus with a cubic icon at the top of the screen, and then you can have 2 or 3 or 4 of these cubics in your game jumping around, affecting each other. It may be a bit overkill, perhaps it's something I'm going to be removing. Right now I just made a lot of the crazy cool things you guys have been like suggesting, and like some of the stuff that Halo, I'm still not sure what I should be calling you, said about the finger tapping the objects. I tried to make that into this companion, and we have the first over time combo. So really been trying to look at both the comments and the messages you've been sending me on both of my channels, and trying to make that into something that is really, really simple. And I think these cubig companions are, because you just have something more you can tap, but you don't need to. But if you do, it's just a bonus, and this is a really hardcore tapping game already. And right now you can't get rid of cubics, and you don't want to, because you want more starting funds, more starting objects. But in the next version, like I said, you're going to be able to trade with others or your own accounts, and then you can decide, like, do I want to focus on having cubics that give me a better starting boost, the ability powers, the 3 numbers, or do I want to focus on cubics that just give me more cash when I tap them, the dock and all? Do I want to combine cubics into higher tiered ones? We're going to have a lot of options like that, but right now I just tried to make something I think is really cool. Right now we're going to be looking at the docking. We have a common cubic on the top of 2 tier 2 objects, and you can dock in all objects. And as it sits there, or whatever it does, these objects become darker until they are completely black. It will not turn your objects into a pentagon, a hexagon, and that is because originally I made it so that they could. But if you are close to getting a new tier and you suddenly have 2 white objects, then it's really frustrating, and the cubics are only supposed to be helping you out. That's like the main thought behind it. These are, you want them there. They're not supposed to annoy you in any way. The dark sun, as you can see right now, is paused at the top of the screen, and the way I made it now is that instead of just coming, filling everything and being really annoying, it is just shown at the top of the screen because that is the part of the game it affects. Another massive change I made is you can now just tap anywhere. There is no tapping area. You just tap wherever you want and you're gonna be spawning objects. And I kind of like that. I like the simplicity of it because you can go down to tier 4, 5 or 6 wherever you are focusing on, and you're still going to be able to spawn objects on tier 1, and that is like the base somehow. I feel so anyway. Another thing worth mentioning about the cubics is that the commons are considered no, how should I phrase it? The commons can penetrate the first floor. Yeah, they have a chance of affecting your tier 1 and tier 2 objects. The uncommons may go down to tier 3, so they can pass through the different walls or floors depending on their rarity. So a legendary is considered a tier 4. It can go all the way down and touch tier 5 objects. Now the interesting thing is that these cubics change as they interact with things, so you can actually have an uncommon that jumps down to tier 4, tier 3, and then converts into a common. And then you have a common down at your tier 3 objects, and it can darken them, it can interact with them. So slowly but surely as you play, if you have more rare objects, cubics, they're going to move down and affect your stronger cubes, even if they are common. And I kind of like that. As you progress, you can affect the game where you think it's really interesting. It also means that you can choose to watch an ad and spawn another cubic in tier 1 when you have one down in tier 3 to affect more parts of the game, or you can try to just cluster them all down there, get a lot of value from it. Like, a lot of options, and of course a lot more that I really want to make, but I've been hiding again, working on my development because I'm super excited about these ideas you're giving me. And seriously guys, 300 players, what? Like crazy, is insane. I didn't think this was gonna be like this year 300 players would be playing a game I made. There you saw the spawn, boom, explosion of dark objects coming out of the cubic, and this was a common. The uncommon has double the chance of this happening, and it can spawn more objects. The rare, even more, and so forth and so forth and so forth, meaning that you can get some pretty crazy effects in the game when you have these different cubics. They are expensive to unbox, but they are also permanent. This is like Grindo's Paradise kind of thing. The way that I made the unboxing in terms of the math is that whatever tier you are unboxing, you have 90% chance of getting that tier and 10% chance of getting the next tier. So if you choose to do a common unboxing, you have 90% chance of getting a common and 10% chance of something else. So something else in terms of this is uncommon. And then it restarts the roll mathematically, saying you have 90% chance to get an uncommon, but you have 10% chance to get something else, which is the rare tier. Once again, 10% chance to get the legendary, 10% chance to get the mythic, 10% chance to get the divine. It means a minimal chance for you to get something amazing with just the common, but you can do it. If I'm gonna be changing how this works, I don't know. Right now I have been unboxing like 10,000 of each of these different tiers, trying to figure out what is a good value, what is a good probability of getting something better. I don't want to just power dump into the game. Everybody starts out getting these amazing crazy things, and then as people start to accumulate power in the game, reset, start at a really high tier, you're going to be getting even more prestige points, and it's going to be like, for what is the purpose now that I have everything? So on purpose I started out making things a little bit low, and then yeah, we're gonna be looking into different options later on. But like I said, we're gonna be having training. That is the next thing I want to be adding, is also coming innovator, and I want to have some kind of contracting where you can combine objects to new objects, meaning that I probably want to have pentagon and hexagon cubies. But yeah, we're gonna be looking into that. Regardless, guys, this has been published for Android, and hopefully it should be coming for iOS very soon as well, in a few days. So, but guys, let me know what you think. I'm super excited about it, like super excited, because this is already so much cooler than I thought it would ever be. And 300 players, like what? A note about the top list: I have 50 bot accounts that have a fixed value. They never reset. I'm going to set that at something obvious, like 100 points, 150 points, 200 points, and that is just so that when the top list restarts, you won't be on the first position because you just happen to be playing at that very second and get 5 times as much as everybody else in black objects. I'm going to give these accounts some pretty obvious names, but for now they're just there as I like get the stuff published on both platforms. That was it from now, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching.